Hi guys, Sonia here. First of all, if you hear any noise, it's my washing machine, which is probably trying to launch itself into space. But anyway, this is a new journal that I created, and I've been asked to make a video. A flip through it, or of it, sorry. So, yeah, here it is. And this is, yeah, I'm filming now in, I think, like a fifth spot in my home, in my apartment, and I'm having really always such a hard time, with light and everything, so I'm really sorry about the quality of my videos, but as I said before, there's nothing I can do about that now. So, I hope that is not a huge, problem. Anyway, this is my lovely, romantic, little bit shabby chic journal. There's this tassel here on the side, and it's removable. And I have this little vial with dried, I hope it shows, dried rose petal and some glitter inside. And it's glued very well with a gel medium. So, yeah, it won't open. And here is the back. There's some lovely lace, actually a doily that I cut and added here. So, yeah, the cover is a bit thin, not too thin, but a little bit thin, corrugated cardboard. I mean, the very flexible one, and it's really nice to work with. But it was in like dark red color, so I painted it with white gesso and some pink acrylic paint, and then some of this kind of lilac acrylic paint. And I really love how it turned out. I wanted it to be, well, like this. I also sprayed a little bit with some alcohol ink sprays, and I crocheted, well, this was first a blanket stitch, I guess, and then I crocheted all around the edge this lovely border, and that I can only hope is showing on this. Let me try and see. Yeah, I'm not sure. Then I added lace, this doily parts, and this big part is stitched on, but before that I used just a piece of cardboard, a simple, card box type of cardboard. I have lots of that, and I recycle every single box or anything I I get, because for me that's such an amazing material to work with, very versatile. And I painted it with white gesso first, like 2 or 3 layers maybe. Then I decoupaged this napkin, this lovely rose on it. Then I took my X-Acto knife and I just scratched here and there, to make it more worn and shabby. And I inked it a little bit. I added a little bit of glitter to the rose, and then I went over that with the matte gel medium to secure everything nicely, and it also just dimmed a little bit this glitter, but it can still be seen. Well, maybe you cannot, but in person it can. So it came out really, I mean, amazing. And because there are some blue, I don't know what this is, like berries or something, I used blue thread to stitch around. And I used the simple organza ribbon for closure because I wanted something soft and fine, but simple, you know, not to interfere with all this here. So inside I have, maybe I could, well, maybe not. I'll just hold it up so that you can see it better. I lined the inside of the cover with fabric, cotton fabric, with some lovely, very discreet floral print on it. Then I sprayed over that, and I also added this cotton trim. Actually, this and this is one type, and then here and on this side is the other type trim. And I glued down this coffee dyed vintage cardstock and this little flower and bling. But I did that because, you know, I wanted the inside cover to be also usable, you know, for writing or adding a photo or some info, whatever you would like. It's very, okay, my washing machine is done. It will have to wait. It's very rainy and gloomy here, so I can only hope that the light is okay. This page, I've been collecting materials, I can put it down, for this journal for quite some time, and I was given these papers, these rosy papers, you will see throughout the journal. They come from my dear friend, and she gave them to me, and before that I started collecting and pressing and oh, just a second, sorry. Okay, I killed it. I've been collecting rose petals, and I've been dyeing, eco-dyeing some papers with them, and you will also see that in this journal. And, you know, drying them, and I've used some for tags and some in these little bottles or vials, you know, and the whole inspiration for this journal was, you know, a bit of nature and, of course, roses, but, you know, just femininity and I've been actually quite obsessed with just passing of time. You know, the create. Okay, how to say that in English? The creating of memories with time passing, and, you know, trying to preserve them in a beautiful way or in a beautiful place, like this journal. So anyway, without being too sentimental, I will proceed. So here I added some of this glittery tape, which I absolutely love, and I love it because not only because it's glittery, but because it sticks really well to the paper. So this is oval, obviously, like card or whatever piece of my handmade paper, and I just added a little bit of glitter around it, around the edge. This is heat embossed on vellum, some handmade flowers, and 2 tags for some journaling. and you know, the recipient, because this journal is already sold, the recipient can just take them out and add something else. Then this page, I really love this page, because as I was cutting those my handmade paper, you know, with those oval dies, I was left with these like negatives, I would say, and I thought that would make a gorgeous frame, you know, type of thing. I mean, it's glued down, but still, it to me it looks amazing. The texture is beautiful, and I just stamped a little bit over there and distressed the edges, and added this glitter and this flower, some cheesecloth, and this little bow. And here is that rosy paper. I mean, I call it rosy paper, the paper that I dyed with rose petals, and it just came out so beautiful. This one was also in the same batch, but it didn't get, it was an outer layer. I mean, one of these days I will make a tutorial on how I dye my papers, and I just wrap them in a roll, and then the outer layers don't catch all those leaves or flowers or whatever, but they still catch a lot of, you know, like tea or whatever, you know, that dye, natural dye. So I love to use them. And here you can see the traces of the twine I bound them with. And I just love that. I love all that texture and all those imprints and stuff. Here is a rose leaf, which is just gorgeous. To me it is, and on this side also. And you know, to me it's all just a moment in time preserved. That's something I always think about, and I probably said that before in some or any of my videos. But really, that's you know, just nature, or just one moment, you know, here on that page, and to write over that and have all your precious thoughts and memories on that type of paper. Well, to me, it's something amazing. That's why I like to, I love to journal and to, you know, keep all kinds of memorabilia or whatever in them, and why I like to make them. This is just a simple card that actually just shows that this is a tuck spot. You know, a doily and some layering here. Then here is the other side of that doily, and I added this vintage paper to strengthen it up a bit, and just to tag more rose leaves. This is red onion, and it has this lovely dark pink, I would say, maybe not pink, but really interesting color. Dusty pink, maybe, I don't know, but it looks really great. Rose petals again. This is cardstock, and here well, first I have some collage here of some old lace and some butterflies, and you know, just an embellishment made out of scraps. And here I added this vintage postcard, and it's just gorgeous, and it says 1959, so that's really precious. And on this side I have well, this actually came with a garment, with a blouse that I bought recently, and it just looks great. You know, it says vintage flower. What else could you want? Perfect for this journal, the color and everything. And I just added this teeny tiny rose, and this is a card a dear friend of mine sent me, and it's blank, and I just had to include that in this journal. Another rose leaf print. This is another example of my handmade paper frame. This time I cut it with decorative scissors all around, and I added this heat embossed and distressed vellum and bling and some butterflies, and that's that. Here is a strip of my handmade paper that I backed with vintage paper, and here's just some cotton type of fabric. It's not cheesecloth, but a little bit, you know, it's similar. And then I used again my handmade paper to make this journaling card, and I've stamped this on it. And this paper, you know, I'm really happy with my handmade paper. I can stamp on it perfectly, and it's so great. So I just inked the edges, and this oval die and this die are my absolute favorites, you know, especially for making tags and stuff like that. And this is just a extra piece of paper, you know. I thought that because it's eco-dyed, it's just nice to add. This is also eco-dyed with some leaves. They're not showing that much, but still there is color. This is that, well, I guess it's some kind of scrapbook paper, but I sprayed it and added lace and some embellishments there. Rose petals, and so beautiful, with very light yellow here and some brown. It's really nice. Here also, I guess I will have to hurry. I don't want this to take forever to upload. Handmade paper. This is just an embellishment, and some vellum, and this like a craft paper flower. My favorite punch, definitely, this Martha Stewart hydrangea punch. Another card. This is a vintage cardstock that I stamped on. I love this stamp, and I added just these little hearts. And most of these small embellishments are made out of recycled materials. This is absolutely amazing. Also rose petals, but here there's just a purplish and pinkish color and yellow and brown and everything, and I really love this, I must say. Here I just stamped a bit on this paper. It's really nice with these roses. More rosy paper. This is a recycled piece of cardstock that I've cut with a heart die. It's Tim Holtz primitive hearts, and I decoupaged on it. And this is Gibbet inspired, of course, like a specimen tag, and I just crushed some dried rose petals, the same that I have in that little vial, and it looks wonderful, and it's very, I don't know, it's just sentimental. And this is of course recycled plasticky, you know, the type of thing that you get when you buy dyes or whatever. I keep all that and then I use it in my journals. Another beautiful rose here, and this is just a little tuck spot made with scraps, and then a vintage cardstock, and here is just a craft paper and a lovely stamp. Then another tuck spot here, my handmade paper and flowers, and just a journaling card, rose leaves. This is the other side of that yellowish cardstock with a pocket, some layering. This is also handmade paper and napkin decoupage, and this is another journaling card. Here is another pocket. This is another handmade paper tag. I love how this turned out with decoupage and just some layering. I got this idea from Sigita, of course, you know, well, I did use that before, but not that much. And then when I saw her using those negatives so cleverly and so beautifully, well, that's a great idea. So thank you, Sigita, for that. And another rose petal, onion paper, rose leaves, more sprays. Every single page in this journal is embellished, or this is vintage cardstock on the back of this handmade paper tag, or eco guide or something. There's something on every single page. So here's the other example of those frames that I got, by cutting tags from my handmade paper. And I love this. There's more of lovely prints, more of that gorgeous rosy paper. Here I pieced together two sheets of this lovely paper, and on this side, this is all glued down. It's just an embellishment, but I added some laces and some embellishments. Another cardstock, and this is a vintage postcard too. It's a little bit, not destroyed, but here there's some drawing. But I didn't want to. I was thinking about adding a piece of paper over that, but then again, it's also a piece of history. So yeah, there's a postage stamp missing, but I know it's really very vintage. It comes from the same set that I bought. Never mind, it's just gorgeous, and it's rose. It goes so well with this journal. And it says something in Hungarian, I don't know what. Another, handmade paper, decoupaged tag, and some layering here. This is a little belly band with this heat embossed butterfly again. I love this stamp, as you probably noticed. This is another one of Gibbet inspired tags. This is vellum with a dried leaf inside. And some stamping, rosy papers. This is a little... Oh, this tag was sent to me by Renee. Thank you, Renee. And butterfly. Here is a tuck spot. This is a little pocket here with just a simple card inside. It's just an example, how the lady who bought this journal can use it, just in case. Not that she doesn't know that already, but just in case. And more lovely papers. Just a flip out. I didn't want to cut this off and waste it. It's just too beautiful. And then another pocket with some layering, cheesecloth, tinkholz flowers, and lovely button. And then this large tag that could be used as a bookmark in this journal. A friend also gave me this little button. It's so cute. And yeah, I also like this one. I like the whole journal. But I just folded a doily, a small doily, paper doily, and added some cheesecloth and these cutout hearts inked on top and some bling. And then this is my handmade paper tag that I distressed and I glued down. I stamped on it first, and it didn't really show as much, as I wanted it. So I just glued this big butterfly that's heat embossed on vellum over that, and then it just looked amazing. So that goes in there. Some more stamping and spraying. Another frame. This time I just stored the edges. Didn't cut them. And this is another handmade paper decoupaged tag. This side is blank. There's a lot of space for journaling, for writing in this journal. This is also just an embellishment because that's where I pieced together these papers, and then I stamped on my handmade paper, and again it stamped beautifully. This is a vellum butterfly and a flower. More lovely papers and another set of frames. And I love these raw edges and vellum flowers, paper flowers, and these little flowers. I will have to make another video about that. They are all, just recycled things or reused. And again, vintage cardstock on the back, and that is my lovely vintage looking journal, and I hope you like it. Leave a comment if you wish. I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and have a lovely day everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.